Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. Glad you made it today. Today I wanted to talk to you about an additional funding stream from the VA that assists veterans with rent, utilities, even in some cases, storage unit, car repairs. So that's something that you wanted to hear more about. Please hit the thumbs up for me, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff, because it helps to spread this word to all of us, right? There's many of us out there, and sadly, the majority of us have no clue what's even available. And oftentimes we're put in situations where there might be help for us, and we don't even realize that it's there, and so we struggle through it, right? Us, our families, others, what have you. So anyway, let's jump into it. This additional funding stream from the VA for those specific things like rent or utilities, your gas, your electricity, your storage unit, car repairs, that type of stuff, is through the VA, through a program called Supportive Services Veterans Families. It's SSVF. SSVF is a grant program in which the VA grants out this money for those specific things. And it goes out to many nonprofits throughout the nation. These nonprofit organizations typically assist homeless veterans. So, number one, if you're a homeless veteran, important to know that this stuff exists, right? What they'll do for a homeless veteran is they will provide some case management, and they'll also assist with obtaining the funding. They will provide the funding for that security deposit or background checks that you may have to incur as you go through trying to rent a place. So oftentimes it's pretty hard to come out of pocket with an extra few $1,000s for all these incidentals as you're trying to get moved into a place. However, in addition to homeless veteran services that they provide, these nonprofits collecting SSVF funding, they also are in the business of helping to prevent homelessness in the veteran world, right? So, and how do they do that? Well, that's what I was talking about. They will actually catch you up on your rent if you're behind on your rent. They will help you with your PG&E. They will help you, if you have a storage unit that's going to get closed down on you because you couldn't make the payment, or car repairs because you can't make it back and forth to a job because you don't have a car. Those are the types of things that this funding is for. Now, with these SSVF providers, I'm going to put more information in the comments below, and I'll try to put the link to the spreadsheet of all the different providers in every single state, so that way you can find your state, find your county, and see what providers are there, and it'll have their contact information and so forth. Or you can also just Google search, potentially, SSVF, and then your county, and then maybe it'll show up that way, because SSVF would be kind of a designator for that organization. So when it comes to this funding and receiving it, you have to be below a certain income. You can't walk into one of these places or call them up and say, hey, I make $300,000 a year. Can you pay my rent? That's not going to work. So this is definitely a needs-based program. But again, many folks don't even know that it exists. So it's important to know that it's there. So if you are in a lower income bracket, you may qualify. Some of the common examples that I will see is, you may be somebody, everything was going great, but then for some reason your company, the job you were working at, shut down. They laid people off, or they scaled back, or had reductions in force, and you lost your job. Now you're on the job hunt. You're not making any money, and you're looking for work. Well, guess what? You're not making any money, and you're out looking for work. It's hard to make that rent payment. If that's you, you need to get in contact with a place like this, because they could help you out with the rent. There's certain things that they can't help you with, right? They're not going to be paying, your car payments or your credit card bills or anything like that. But if they say that they will pay your rent for you and they cut you a check, then that frees up that money to go pay those other things and try to stay current with stuff. So really, really important information there. Another example that I'll see is, somebody who is homeless, and they are, they got their stuff together, and now they found a job, and now they're trying to get into a place. These organizations will work with landlords out there and try to help them, help the landlord rent out their place to a veteran, and then they will help the veteran with the security deposit to get into that place, and like I said, pay for the background check and so forth. I mean, whatever that is, $30, $40, $50, $60. So the other piece here, now the way that these SSVF providers work is they're more heavily focused on homeless veteran with their funds. So I would say maybe 75 or 80% of their efforts and funding are used for homeless veterans to bring them out of homelessness. The other 20 or 25% is focused on homeless prevention, really, preventing homelessness within the veteran community. Now, the car repairs piece is a pretty good piece because they understand that without a car, you can't go to work. And so that if you needed to get tires changed, or your check engine light came on and you need a new whatever, they can, whatever, some sort of oxygen sensor or something on your car, they can go ahead and help out with that. Now, again, it's kind of a 80-20-ish rule there, and it's one of those things where, let's say that you go to one provider. Let's say you live in a bigger area, a bigger metropolitan area, and you go to one provider and they say, well, sorry, we don't have any funding for that. They may have already tapped out their 20% for the year. Every year they get refunded. So it's a fiscal year, federal fiscal year, October. So maybe you went in July or August and they've already, spent their 20 or 25% of their funding. There may be another provider in that area covering that same county. It's a geographic thing. The money's allocated for a specific county. So you go to another provider there, talk to them. They may still have some funding available in that bucket for homeless prevention. And if they do, you could potentially qualify for that. So just again, important information to have. I feel it's important to share that information, and it's really about getting it into the hands of those that need it or those that can share it with others. And collectively, we can help get this word out to more of us. And how do we do it? Hitting that thumbs up, subscribing, sharing, commenting. All of those things tell YouTube that this is important information. So with that, thank you so much for hitting that thumbs up and subscribing. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks so much. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.